after weeks of hectic election rallies and campaigns and of course no signs of following any coronavirus guidelines, the Hyderabad civic polls have finally come to an end. But this civic body elections were a little bit different. From the likes of heavyweights such as Amit Shah, JP Nadda and Yogi Adityanath, the stage was set for a major showdown. Moreover, it has also shown that people still choose regional parties over national parties when it comes to local elections. Interestingly enough, the focus has also shifted once again on the issue of name change politics. तो आइए आज बात करते हैं इस वीडियो में हमारे सरकार की नाम बदलने की राजनीति पर। My name is Amir and you are watching The Upfront. Over the past week, we have seen the much hyped up civic polls of Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation. Well, among all the political parties in the fray, there was only one party which stood out uniquely among the rest. The Congress Party. 2 गज की दूरी और 2 सीटों की मजबूरी। कांग्रेस का इस इलेक्शन में यही हाल था, इसलिए क्योंकि कांग्रेस हार कर भी सबसे अलग रहती है। After all, it is the grand old party of our country, right? Nevertheless, with the entry of top personalities like Amit Shah and Yogi Adityanath, there was bound to be many controversial comments and remarks. Because we are quite aware as to what kind of polarizing politics the BJP plays whenever an election is drawn near.
हिंदुओं को इकट्ठा करने के लिए हम हिंदुओं की ऐसी बात लेकर सामने रखें कि वो इकट्ठे हो जाएं, बांटे ना जाए। मुसलमानों में महिलाओं को अलग कर दो, ट्रिपल तलाक देकर ये करके बोरा सिया इन सबको भी अलग कर दो, और ये सुन्नी जो है और खासतौर पर वहाबी सुन्नी है उसको अलग कर दो, तो फिर हम जीतेंगे। उस फॉर्मूला में हमें मेजॉरिटी मिली। ये गवर्नेंस ये सब कहने की बात है।
Yogi Adityanath's remark about renaming the city of Hyderabad to Bhagyanagar has shifted the focus again on the issue of name change politics.
क्या हैदराबाद भाग्यनगर हो सकता है? मैंने कहा क्यों नहीं। उन्होंने कहा कैसे? हमने कहा देखिए, उत्तर प्रदेश में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार आई, हमने फैजाबाद को अयोध्या कर दिया।
The current government is often accused of tying new name ribbons around existing welfare schemes and presenting them as new. While this goes on in the center, some BJP governments and the larger Sangh Parivar have gone on a seemingly unending name changing spree. Out of 29 states, Uttar Pradesh under the Yogi Sarkar has taken the lead. Moreover, there have been murmurs to rename Ahmedabad in Gujarat, Aurangabad and Osmanabad in Maharashtra, and I'm very sure this kind of rhetoric is going to be picked up whenever elections are drawn near. In 2016, Gurgaon was renamed as Gurugram. In 2018, Allahabad was renamed as Prayagraj, and shortly afterwards, Mughal Sarai Junction, with a history of 156 years, was renamed as Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay Station. And please keep in mind that these 3 examples are among many other name-changing instances taken up by the government. The current rush to change names of cities, public places, stations, etc. is a part and parcel of the politics of memory, as a way to holding sway in the politics of culture. It is now more than obvious that Vikas has now taken a backseat and that name change is just another reason to divert the attention of the public from real development work. और हमारी जनता भी इतनी बोली है कि रोटी कपड़ा मकान भूल जाएंगे और नाम बदलाने में और हिंदू मुस्लिम करने में लग जाएंगे। सवाल ये उठता है कि क्या नाम बदलने की राजनीति सिर्फ इंडिया में पाई जाती है? देखिए, रीनेमिंग ऑफ सिटीज, स्ट्रीट्स, लैंडमार्क्स एक्सेट्रा इज नॉट एन एक्ट एक्सक्लूसिव टू इंडिया और द बीजेपी। 1914 में द सिटी नोन एज सेंट पीटर्सबर्ग इन इंपीरियल रशिया वाज रीनेम्ड क्योंकि कम्युनिस्ट अथॉरिटीज को लगा कि भाई साहब देखिए, ये सेंट पीटर्सबर्ग तो बहुत जर्मन सुनाई दे रहा है, इसको नाम बदल देते हैं। सो दे रीनेम्ड इट एज पेट्रोग्राड। 1924 में जब लेनिन की मौत हो गई, द सिटी वाज अगेन रीनेम्ड एज लेनिनग्राड इन हिज ऑनर। In 1991, following the collapse of USSR के खात्मे होने के बाद फिर उसका नाम सेंट पीटर्सबर्ग रख दिया गया। India has also renamed several cities long before BJP came into power. In 1995, India restored the names of Bombay to Mumbai, Bangalore to Bengaluru, Calcutta to Kolkata and Madras to Chennai. This was done in order to emphasize its independence from Britain and reject the linguistic symbols which were left behind from the colonial era. Names of Kanpur and Jabalpur were renamed as Kanpur and Jabalpur in order to reflect the native spelling and the pronunciation. Although name changing has been practiced widely across the world, it is more than just simply changing a name on a map or on a street sign. But rather, the names of places form an important element in the country's cultural landscape, and they embody and also reflect the local heritage and identity of that particular place. Changing them is often seen as rewriting the entire history of that place. Therefore, the issue of renaming has always been a hotly debated and a contested issue. देखिए, अगर एक जगह का नाम बदलना है तो वहां की लोकल पॉपुलेशन की राय भी लेनी बहुत जरूरी होती है. And more often than not, renaming of a place is more acceptable to the locals when it is done in order to erase the remaining symbols of colonialism. Magar, if it is done in order to solely give privilege to one of the many possible interpretation of that place's history and identity, then it becomes a divisive force and therefore accelerates political, social or economic divisions among different communities of our country. These are the very same divisions which our politicians know how to cleverly exploit whenever there's an election. In 2014, our Prime Minister Modi said that India is troubled by 1200 years of slave mentality. He was actually clearly lumping together the previous medieval Mughal era and the 200 years of British rule as a long and an undivided period in which India suffered so much. This actually culminated in the renaming of Aurangzeb Road as Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Road. The people who supported this name change argued that a cruel invader like Aurangzeb deserves no place in modern India. देखिए, कई सारे लोगों को ऐसे लगा कि अगर डॉक्टर APJ अब्दुल कलाम को ट्रिब्यूट देना ही चाहते हैं, if you really want to give a true tribute to the missile man of our country, then you better give it in the shape of a science museum for children, not as a mere renamed signpost. The real reasoning behind the name change was not the result of how Aurangzeb was perceived, but rather the RSS and BJP considered the entire medieval Mughal era as a dark period of our country's history. Prior to the name change, many street signs bearing Muslim names were vandalized and painted black by right-wing extremist groups. Even the street named after Akbar, who is considered a liberal even by right-wing Hindus, was also vandalized. This clearly shows that they not only have a problem with Aurangzeb and his alleged cruel legacy, but the entire India's Muslim heritage. मैं आपको कुछ एग्जाम्पल्स देना चाहता हूँ. सैफ्रनाइजेशन ऑफ एजुकेशन बड़े जोर शोर से चलते आ रहा है. मैं आपको ये दावे के साथ तो नहीं कह सकता, मगर इतना तो जरूर कह सकता हूं कि हमारी जो अगली जनरेशन होगी वो टिप्पू सुल्तान और उनकी बहादुरी के बारे में पढ़ने को नहीं मिलेगी. हाँ, 2017 में आरएसएस के प्रचारक दीनानाथ बात्रा ने एनसीईआरटी को एक खत लिखा. उसमें उन्होंने लिखा कि सारे उर्दू के लफ्ज और पन्ने जो मिर्जा गालिब ने लिखी हैं वो सारे स्कूल टेक्स्ट बुक से हटा दो. This apparent saffronization of our country not only harms the religious minorities but also harms the Dalits as well. 2016 में गुड़गांव का नाम बदलकर गुरुग्राम रख दिया बीजेपी गवर्नमेंट ने. And the BJP government argued that Gurgaon was actually a distorted pronunciation of the correct Sanskrit word Gurugram. Gurgaon is basically the result of day-to-day Haryanvi language and the culture which is unique to it. But Gurugram, the Sanskrit version, actually connotes the upper class Brahmin language and culture, and it is also linked to Guru Dronacharya, a symbol of Brahminical upper caste oppression against the less privileged Dalits. For this reason, Dalit scholars saw this name change as an attempt of the BJP to abuse its more privileged upper caste voters at the cost of marginalizing lower caste Dalits. Since the dawn of authority, it has always been the norm that rulers or the ruling classes are very keen to cement their legacy into the public memory through the use of monuments and statues. In democracies too, the interest of creating an enduring legacy is also part of the politics of culture. Therefore, historical and political figures are often memorialized in statues, public squares, in currency, on signboards and even on road names. The same way how rulers of ancient and medieval India, including British, wanted to live for posterity through memory, so do the rulers of today want to create new memories. Amidst us, through the use of symbols in the public memory, the government is trying to hold its sway over the politics of culture. देखिए, ये बात आप ध्यान से सुनना. There are three different kinds of levels to this kind of politics. First level is this, that politics is to attempt in order to erase parts of our country's history. By changing Muslim sounding names or names given by the Muslim rulers, the current attempt is to wipe out and erase the history of more than 600 years. That period is projected as the dark ages of India, when external aggression wounded our selfhood and that the outsiders came and ruled over the country for many centuries. So in order to heal the scars of defeat throughout history, we shall change the names of cities, stations, public places in order to clean our memory from our dark history. The next level is to assert that India is a Hindu nation. This level is meant to not only be in a religious sense, but is also based on identity, memory and even morality. Hence, the politics in India should also be based on Hindu religious ideas. Constitution को हटा के सीधा मानुस्मृति रख लेंगे. The third level is in the retelling of recent history, like our national struggle and the building of a democratic society. This process is already underway, and moreover now efforts are made to diminish and remove from public memory those leaders whose ideology the current government dislikes. One of Allahabad's most famous native sons, Jawaharlal Nehru, was actually once an unassailable legacy in India. Right now, is considered a matter of contention. Even Gandhiji's legacy is under threat, as a statue of Godse have been planted in many public places. देखिए, since time immemorial, India historically has always been a land of diverse religions, cultures and heritages. Our country symbolizes that of a peacock. So many colors, yet so breathtakingly beautiful. Our strength lies in our diversity. Our inclusive values, morals and ideals is the identity upon which our country so proudly stands. In a diverse country like India, the issue of renaming cities, public places, etc. assumes extra importance. देखिए, government से तो हो नहीं रहा है. Therefore, it is up to the civil society to make attempts in order to spread awareness about this issue and to safeguard the cultural landscape of our country, which includes names, symbols, languages, scripts and so much more that belong to all the different castes, different communities and different groups. In doing so, all Indians can genuinely feel a part of the nation without the threat of a slow cultural genocide. Dear viewers, through mainstream media, the projection of Hindutva as the true and sole identity of our country is already taking place. This project of erasing won't just stop at eliminating or deleting the entire Mughal or Muslim history, but will eventually end up attacking something that which you and I cherish so much, the very inclusive nature of India. If you like the content which we provide, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon in order to get notifications from the upfront.